Well, hello. Today we're going to talk about what is life. Life can be about bitter friends, can't it? But you know what's interesting about that? To have a bitter friend, we have to be that same energy. We cannot attract into our life anyone that is not a vibrational match to us. It is impossible. So we're going to come back to this idea again. So what is life? I guess the best way I can do it is go back to the idea that Oprah on her Super Soul Sunday series asks a question. And she does this with every great spiritual teacher that she brings on. And she asks the question, what is the soul? And what I've come up for the definition that fits me is that the soul is that point in consciousness where the infinite, the divine, God, has chosen to individualize itself as whole, perfect, and unique for the purpose of experiencing itself. Did you hear that? So there, God individualizes itself as a unique, whole, and perfect expression of itself, meaning that the expression is all qualities of God within that expression, in that point of consciousness, but it is unique. Nothing else in the universe, in the cosmos, is like it, so that God can express and experience itself, because God cannot experience in the allness of itself, because to do so would mean that there have to be something other than God. Because you have to have contrast to experience. Does that make sense? So if everyone is a unique and whole expression of God, then God is interacting with itself for the purpose of experience. So I come back to what is the foundation of everything we teach here at Agape. And this is basically the same foundation that's taught in all New Thought churches, whether it's Unity, Religious Science, Centers for Spiritual Living, Divine Science, or independent metaphysical churches. They teach there is but one power, one presence. It is infinite, it is all-knowing, it has always been, and it always will be. That's God. Meaning everything is God in expression. God created everything out of itself. So everything is that expression of God. Now, go to another point. The second point of it is, if everything is God, then everything is part of the creative process. So the fullness and the allness of the creative process is right where we are. There is a power greater than us that responds to us through our thoughts. And the sum total of our thoughts, the consciousness that we are, the race consciousness means human consciousness, the collective consciousness. So in this room, if you put all the consciousness of this room together, it embodies the consciousness of Agape in this very moment. If you walk out into Plano, there's a consciousness. If you go to Frisco, there's a consciousness. If you go into Dallas, there's a consciousness. They're all different, aren't they? They have to be. Because the people who make up that consciousness are different. So the second one person walks into this room, the collective consciousness of this room shifts. Does that make sense? So whoever comes into your life, who you allow into your life, and how you respond to them into your life causes you to be in a consciousness. The question I ask on this journey of life, is this a consciousness that is serving? So what is it serving? I'm going to go back to one of our we believe statements. So listen to this one. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. So let's break that down a little bit. Eternality always has been, always will be. That's who you are. You just don't realize it, but you are eternal. Immortal, what does that mean? You're never going to die. We have a hard time with that one because we become very attached to this human body. Yes, we let go of this human body, but the human body is not who we are. Remember, who are we? We are that point of consciousness where the divine has individualized itself as unique, whole, and perfect. And so when we embody that consciousness, then we understand That point of consciousness is what? Forever and ever, continuously unfolding and expanding. So what is life? It's to realize our oneness with God, to understand that the power to change and create our lives is always working with us. And then, why are we here? To expand and to express and to experience as God. I didn't say for God. Did you hear that? I was very bold in what I said, because if I were in a different type of church, I would probably have you throwing stones at me. Because I said, as God. I'm not saying you're all of God, but I'm saying that all of you is God. Does that make sense? That's what Jesus came down and he talked about so clearly. This I do and you can do and more. Buddha was the same way. Krishna the same way. Muhammad, you've got to take away all of the garbage that was put around the essential teachings of the great spiritual avatars. When you come down to it, they all said that God is eternal. Once you come to the premise of God is eternal, the devil does not exist. Can I be more clear? Because that would mean there is something outside of God. Can't be, doesn't exist. To think that there's a hell cannot be, because that would mean there's something outside of God. Do you think all loving God condemns itself to a place outside of itself? Let's be real. What I've come to understand, and this is a phenomenal quote by Ernest Holmes, who wrote The Science of Mind, which is, he summed up all the great philosophers, all the great scientists, and all the great spiritual teachers into a philosophy that can be used in practice. And he said this, what happens is, a great teacher comes along. They bring and they put out some magnificent spiritual teachings, truth that people can use. And all of a sudden, someone says, we need to create a religion. And they start filling in all around this teacher, creating this mystery, creating all of this stuff. And pretty soon, someone believes it. And pretty soon, a group of people believe it. The next thing you know, they become hypnotized about the words that they've attached to something that they've filtered through their filters. See, the question really becomes, who created God? No one. But God created us. Whose image of God are you worshiping? Are you worshiping an image of God created by man? Or are you worshiping an image of God as God is? You see, to create an image of God based on God means you cannot even define it. Do you think a God would give you rules and take away your freedom? Do you think this God that is infinite, all-knowing, is there and wants to judge you? That wants you to worship it? Do you think that's an all-knowing and loving God? I'm breaking all of the rules wherever you come from. I'm tapping you right now and I'm making you uncomfortable, and I'm purposely doing that. Because until you break those rules, you can't embody your own power within. And if you don't embody the power within you, that is the God power, you cannot begin to change your life. You remain a victim. If you're here at Agape, I guarantee you there is something within you that is coming forth that says, I am tired of being a victim. This is the path. What is the path? This is the path. It's the journey. And the journey is remembering and becoming aware of who we are. So it's always about awareness. And this is where we use our spiritual tools. We're not going to go into our tools a lot today, but their meditation, their prayer, their affirmations, their gratitude, their forgiveness, their acts of service, their acts of giving and receiving, their acts of study. But these are tools that we practice. Now, on this journey that we're on, okay, you do a deep meditation one day, and then 5 days later you do another meditation, you're really not a heck of a lot better off. I'm just going to be very honest with you. One of the things that you're going to understand is that at Agape, we teach this very clearly, because I've watched brothers and sisters around the country and the world doing this. And what happens is, if we are not immersed in a daily spiritual practice, it's all fluff. Can I be more clear? Anyone here want to come for fluff? No one's going to dare raise their hand. I don't care if they want to or not. They're not coming here for fluff. They're coming here because they want to change their lives. They want to be empowered. So that means we have to look at this as an investment. I think this is a great way. I forget who was talking to me about this, but it was an investment. So think about it. If you're going to invest money and you want a return, you're going to do all the things that are necessary, finding the right broker, following the stocks, doing the daily practice, putting aside 10% of your money or more each week, becoming a saver as opposed to a spender. You're doing all these things on a regular basis. This is the sign of a true wealthy human being with respect to money. Wealthy people save more than they spend, and once they've begun saving, they learn to invest and make their money work for them. That's the simplest way of saying how to build wealth, okay? But you got to practice it every day. It's not one day you save $1,000, then you go on a splurge and you buy Gucci all next year, and you're now $20,000 in debt. But I did save $1,000 over here. You see what I'm getting at? It's about a consistent, it's about a persistent. It's about a persistent path, one that you've got the vision, and you never deter from that vision every day. This is the idea of goals. What are goals doing? They're pointing you in a direction. You're setting the direction of your life, whatever that means for you, and you're persistent in it. Here's the great rule. You must be consistent. Remember in the opening statement, we believe in the immortality, the eternality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. Continuity means continuous. Jesus, when asked, how often should I pray, said, you pray unceasing. Meaning every word you speak is a prayer. My greatest example is it's our total mind. Can you picture our total mind? Your total mind it's huge. This much of it is conscious. All the rest of it's unconscious that you have fed, your parents have fed, society has fed, your teachers have fed, and it's built up this energy that is you. That energy that is you is vibrating out into the world at a frequency like 98.7. We'll go to oldies radio there. 98.7. Now, what's going to play on your channel? 98.7. That's your life experience. It can't be anything different. You can't play 105.3 on 98.7. So what you have to do is, in the old days, we turn the dial to get a new station. So what you do is, with every thought you think a new thought, putting it into consciousness, you're switching that dial just a little bit. The more you feed the thoughts, you switch the dial a little bit. The more you pray, you switch the dial a little bit. The more you meditate, you switch the dial a little bit. And after a period of time, you're at 105.3, okay? But here's the beauty. Once you get to 105.3, by the time you're there, you want what? To be at 109.4. Why? Because there is a continual evolvement of the soul. You are never going to be at a place where you can be, I think I'm just going to chill for the next 2 years. I want things to be the way they were. Anyone ever said that? I wish they were like this. Guess what? It's never going to happen. Get over it. It's not. The only thing that we are sure of in our lives is that change is constant. People move in and out of our lives based on their energy and our energy. There is no right and wrong. There's no person that's right. There's no person that's wrong. It's just that maybe we come into our lives for a reason and a season. Each one of you is in my life for a reason and a season. I don't know how many seasons. I'm blessed to have you in my life today because in some way your energy is tapping into mine. I know that. It can't be any other way. You have to be here because in some way you are vibrating at a match of the energy that's being created in the spiritual center. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. If you were traditional, deep-rooted Pentecostal Christian, you'd have walked out by now. Or you'd have had a bucket of stones and you'd be soliciting people to stone me. This continuity means being present in every moment of every day. You know, go to the infamous story of the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise just went in the direction of the end of the race continuously. What did the hare do? Rabbit, it went everywhere. That's what we do with our monkey minds. And you see, that's the purpose of meditation. Meditation brings your mind into a singular focus, blocking out the other things. So now you're saying, I control you. I'm the one that deliberates where you go, points the direction of where you go. From that, now, you do your prayer work. You do your affirmations work. What are you doing? You're telling the mind what to think. So if I'm there saying to the mind, I'm a genius, and divine wisdom guides my every thought, word, and action, I'm not saying I'm going to rely on hocus pocus. I'm saying I know I'm a genius. I know I'm tapped into infinite wisdom. I'm calling forth that infinite wisdom into my life, that guiding my every thought, word, and action, taking me toward what I want. So when I build an affirmation like that, I am a genius, and divine wisdom guides my every thought, word, and action as I build a spiritual center. You always can add on to that affirmation as I create my new perfect love relationship, as I build a new career singing, as I create my new CD, as I buy this new car. Whatever it is you're seeking, tap into your inner genius, tap into the divine wisdom, and let it guide you. So this journey of life, it's really fascinating because at times, it can be a very lonely journey. And I'm going to say this, to be in a healthy relationship, you've got to learn to be alone. You've got to learn to be alone and to love yourself and to love being alone. Because when you're alone, you're getting to face yourself. You're getting to look at yourself in the mirror without anyone clouding the image being seen, without any victim. You can say, they did this to me, or this caused me to do it. You're looking in the mirror saying, this is who I am. And when you're alone, then you can say, okay, what is the image I want to see looking back at me? And now we create that image and we go forth and we start to become that. And then everyone that enters our lives now becomes a mirror for us to see, are we in that image? Does that make sense? So everyone around us is just a pawn in our unfoldment to allow us to become more of the infinite, becoming more of itself, experiencing itself, and expressing itself. So people say, well, wait a second, you've got this beautiful wife, you've been married for 2,481 years, and in that marriage, she makes you whole. Can I be more clear? She does not. I have been one of those very radical men, and I've said that from day one. I do not need my wife, but I love my wife, and I choose to be with my wife because she is my partner, helping me grow and supporting me as I become more. You see, that's why we have people in our lives, to support and grow us. But they're not doing the work. We do the work. They're not changing for us to be happy. Are you hearing that? Your partner cannot change and make you happy. You have to be the one changing, because the happiness doesn't come from how they treat you. The happiness comes from within you because of your self-love. My friends, that's what life is. It's about the eternal unfolding of the soul that has come forth uniquely and individually as you. And don't let anyone come into your life and tell you that you're not beautiful, you're not perfect, that you're not enough. Because the truth of the matter is that each and every person that you see, especially the one in the mirror, is unique, it is whole, it is perfect, and it is all God. I want to thank you for joining us today. I am so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask you to go to our website. Once there, click on the Contribute button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to the world. I would also ask you to please share this message with anyone you feel might benefit. Again, I want to thank you for joining me and the Agape community as together we bring joy to life.